What's a birthday party without cake? And it isn't your average birthday cake. We're here with Honey Crumb Cake Studio owner and pastry chef Carla Callahan. Thank you so much for bringing the dessert.
You're welcome.
This looks like art. Beautiful, beautiful, beautiful. I'm going to help you, I understand, decorate today,
yes,
right?
I know. I gave you a little fun challenge, Kelly.
It's going to be a challenge.
It is definitely a vintage-inspired cake, as you can tell.
So big right now.
It's a super big trend. I guess it's coming back because when I was a kid, this is the kind of cake that people were buying and going into the bakery and looking at in the display case and staring at weddings with all the pillars and things. These ones do not have pillars, but we are gonna put a little bit of detail on the top and the sides.
All right.
I've given you a pastry bag.
You have. You've clipped it, which makes it easier for me.
I have clipped it so that you don't feel like the buttercream is coming back up onto you and it's only going in one direction. I'm gonna do a little demo for you here. I spared you the project of having to write out Happy Sweet 16.
In cursive, that
New Day
is
Northwest,
very intricate.
Because that requires no caffeine and a steady hand.
Fair.
All right, so we're gonna start, I guess, at the back of this cake.
Okay.
Because if you wanna start on yours at the back, that's a good place to go. I always like to go back first, and that way the front of the cake gets to be the pretty side, because that's the part where you've already practiced.
And I'm even gonna practice on this while you go.
And you can definitely give it a practice shot on here, which is a tip I recommend for all people starting out with cake decorating.
Yes.
Give yourself a chance to get the muscle memory. And I'm gonna just pipe here and squeeze and then release. And I'm essentially piping a blob that's got a little taper. And then I'm gonna pipe the next blob over the top of where I tapered that off. And then as I continue, you can see
not bad.
that little blob sequence is forming a pattern. In pastry, we actually call this a snail trail, which is sort of a terrible, weird term, but essentially it means that you're covering the trace of what you just piped with the new blob on top. So you make your way around.
Wait, I'm very excited with how this is going so far.
So
okay.
What's happening on yours is you're piping directly, which is creating a ruffle, which is another way to use this piping tip. So you've already given it an embellishment.
Oh, geez.
You've elaborated upon the basic technique that I taught you, and you're doing something more advanced. I love that.
Am I? Oh, wow.
You are.
See, I didn't even.
And it looks beautiful. And then we're going to carry on the top so you can repeat that. And I'm going to copy your trick, and I'm going to just pipe straight up blobs.
Straight up blob.
On the top.
It's nice to start from the back because if you mess up, you can hide it. But
exactly.
But we're not going to think about that because you said the cake can sense my fear. So we're just going to...
Cakes always smell.
Fake it till you make it.
They sense the mood and the emotional status of the person who is approaching them.
Tell us about the business, too. You're in West Seattle while we're doing this.
Yes, I actually just moved my shop to West Seattle. And I had a 13-year, I guess, run in a commercial kitchen in Lower Queen Anne, which was obviously a lot of rent. I now bake out of my own building, and I have a large space for cake decorating workshops where I teach people exactly what we're doing today, which is all this getting to grips with a piping bag for the first time, working on a cake, and then teaching yourself the life skill of being able to show up at a party or a celebration or a dinner and bring a beautiful cake that you decorated yourself. And I have teenage boys coming to my classes. I have people of all ages. I love teaching people the life skill of cake decorating. To me, it should be as basic as learning how to boil an egg and make some toast.
Heck yeah, I'm so proud of myself right now. What kind of cakes do you specialize in, too?
So I do make a lot of these vintage cakes because it's sort of one of those areas of commerce where you have to cater to what people are asking for.
Yeah.
But if it's up to me, most of the cakes that I make are really elaborately decorated with handmade sugar flowers because that's my preferred art form. I make botanically correct flowers out of a medium called gum paste, which is an art form that I've been developing for my 16-year career so far. It gives me a lot of joy. It's something that I think in a world of automation is one thing that we have to try to preserve is these art forms that depend on the hand and the dexterity of a human.
Definitely.
That's one of those things that really gives me flow state, gives me joy. this is one of those things too, where if you're sitting and piping a cake for 3 hours.
Just listen to music and do this. This is so relaxing. I was so stressed about this because I didn't want to mess up our beautiful cakes that you brought.
Oh my goodness.
I knew it would still taste okay, obviously, because you are in charge of that, but this is great. Also, where can people find you? How, like, because you're not just having cakes that people can buy every single day. They need to get in touch with you a couple days before.
Yep. Ideally, give me a week of notice if it's the off season. If it's May through September, it's peak wedding season.
Yep.
So you definitely want to book as far in advance as possible. If you give me 2 to 3 months of lead time, that's ideal for a big fancy wedding cake. And I'm going to give you this piping bag because you're so good at it. And now you can add some white embellishments if you want.
Oh my gosh.
It's
Fancy.
Try.
And you know what? I'm going to do that as we go to break. Thank you so much for being here. This was a lot of fun.
You're so welcome. Thank you for having me.